everybody, it's Sonjdradeluxe. Can I get a hell yeah? Yeah. So today, I don't know, I just decided I was gonna start doing makeup looks inspired by my sneakers. I don't even know what this is called, but this is an Air Jordan 1. I will look it up. It's got some neon detailing and gray suede, so I wanted to do that with the makeup. Just for some little inspo to have a little bit of fun with it. I feel like a lot of Jordans have really cool colorways, so I wanted to bring that to life on yours. If you want to see how to get the look, then please stay tuned. Alright, so first up, I'm going to get into the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Primer. Doing the powder review, I was reintroduced to this. I forgot how much I love it, so I'm going to start with that. Give it a nice little blend, get the circulation going in the skin, you feel me? Next up with the Hank & Henry Less Than Touch Blush Highlight Duo. I remember I FaceTimed Henry and I showed him what it looked like, and he's like, what the heck did you do to my product? And I said, well, I used it with my fingers and I pressed hard one time, and there's a hole in it. But anyways, it's still beautiful. It's a cream powder hybrid, and I like to use it before foundation just to give a little bit of reflectiveness to my skin. Next up, I'm going to take the McGrath Labs foundation, and this is in medium 20. I fully accepted my winter shade now. I just got to keep it 100 with myself. So I used to do it in layers, and I really obviously like to do things with my fingers just to massage it in, and it goes on so nice. It's really funny that doing your makeup with your hands is a trend now, and it's something I've been made fun of for so long. I've been doing it for years. Next up, I'm going to take the Huda Beauty Concealer in Caramel Corn. I'm going to put that right underneath my eyes, kind of in a V shape, you feel me, and I put on quite a bit because I will lift it later on with my blender. I also did a little bit around my nose. I've been getting a little bit of redness there lately, and I'm just going to blend that in a lifting shape using a damp beauty blender sponge. I always start where I want the most product and then pull it outwards, and I do the parts that need the least amount of coverage last and use the least amount of product there, so I have enough room and time to blend it out, going back over where I need more coverage, like under my eyes where it's a little bit more of a purpley tone. That's why I use a peachy concealer. Next up, I'm going to take a spoolie and comb my eyebrows through. This is a slightly different way that I've been doing my brows. I'm going to go in with my MAC dipped out in fluid line, and I'm just going to sculpt out the tail end of my brows first, almost like an empty space of where I want my brows to go, and I'm going to do swipes to kind of fill in that tail part where I don't really have any hair, and then wing it on out. I feel like the best way to get swipes in your eyebrows is to kind of let it dry first a little bit and then go back over and do a second layer of just swipes. For this part, I'm not filling it in all the way. The inner parts of my brows, I want to do swipes, not fully filling it in, so that I can have the appearance of fuller brows in that area, but just doing swipes in the same direction my hair grows. Then I'm going to take the Milk Makeup Hydra Brow Gel, and I'm going to comb my hairs in the same direction that we flicked our product, which is upwards, kind of in the same direction that our hair grows. Then I'm going to take some concealer, mix with my foundation to highlight and sculpt my eyebrows. I'm going to lift underneath and then open up the space in between my brows, and then just clean up the top row of hair. This is a good way for me to also make sure that I'm not making my brows too thick. Next, with my Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion in 30M, I'm going to start kind of my nose contour, but this is the bronzing for the eyes. I bronze everywhere, and it's nice just to have a little bit of that warmth in my crease. I'm not doing any blending where it needs to be a transition shade, but it's completing the whole look of being a bronze medallion, you feel me? This is my MAC 222 brush, and I'm just going at the upper bridge of my nose and pulling it out towards my hairline because I really like that lifted look. Next, with the P.Louise Base, I'm going to use the same brush that we snatched the brows with, and I'm starting right where my eyelids are, and I'm slowly rolling the brush just above it just to create more space, and I'm pulling it out. I wanted to use this because it is lighter than my concealer. You can do this with concealer too, but I just like how bright this is and how long this lasts. And I'm winging it out to sculpt the shape we put in a second ago with the bronzer. If you make a little boo-boo, it's okay, just wipe it right away. We've layered that bronzer on so well that there will still be some left over if you just take a little finger right quick. Next, with the One Size Beauty makeup palette, I'm going to take Manila Sands, the bright bone color shadow, and I'm going over top of the inner 3/4 of my eyes, or leaving the last quarter of my eye bare, and I am letting it blur into the outer part without putting product there, because I'm going to go in with taupe of my game. Taupes always go kind of gray on me, and the shoes are a little bit of a grayish beige color with the neon, so I wanted to replicate that by mixing the bone color and the taupe color together. And I'm putting that on the part that we left blank, not worrying too much about the outer point of where we put the eyeshadow base, because we're going over top of that with liner, but I wanted to give a little bit of dimension and to add a little bit more color. To milky it up or to blur it all together, I'm taking the Manila Sands color again and just going over top to give that pale hint of gray color. Next, with the Suva Beauty Dance Party Hydra liner, mixing it with water, getting it nice and creamy. I'm gonna work on my first line, which is always the bottom line for me. It's just easier. I used an angle brush, but I don't really recommend it. It was tricky when I got to going above my crease because I wasn't being as fine with it, but I'm like, let's try and use minimal amount of brushes, you feel me? So I'm doing a line on the bottom and then winging it out with my finger just to pull the color out while it's still quite wet. And that'll be a really great guideline for when we do our top part to meet with that point. Next, I'm going right over top of where we did our empty space. If you make a little boo-boo, it's okay, take your finger. But this was what decided the thickness of this liner was going to be, because I used the angle brush and it was not wanting to be thin, so I was like, all right, let's pour it, let's make it a thick neon line. And I'm just going over top because I can't do a one swipe of perfection. I like to do little strokes to make it even and straight, and I'm making that crease line meet with the tail that we did in the beginning. I always find it's best to do eyeliner without pulling your skin or making any faces, because it can change once you open your eyes. And I find that this liner pops more if you do one really sheer layer and then go over top again with a little bit of a thicker layer and using lots of water so that it can move around. This is also great too, so if you make a boo-boo, you can go with an empty brush and a little bit of water and it will take it off. For the inner corner, I'm exaggerating it a little bit to outline the area that we highlighted with the P.Louise makeup eyeshadow base, and I'm bringing it to a point almost to meet with where we did the start of the nose contour. As I said before, this is why I started that part first, because I wanted to draw over it. And I'm connecting it underneath my lash line, and instead of having it be a blunt line that just stops while it's still wet, I'm moving it across with my finger so it kind of fades into my skin rather than, like I said, having a harsh stop. Now I'm going to take the Makeup by Mario eye pencil in nude to open up my eyes. I just thought it gave a little bit more dimension, and I'm going to fill my waterline. I always think this looks so gross when I see people do it, but gosh, see it. Next up, I'm going to take the Light Medium 2 powder by McGrath Labs, and I'm pressing that into my skin, underneath my eyes, center of the forehead, top of the brow, anywhere you kind of get shiny around the nose, basically all of our concealered areas. Then I'm going to take the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion again. I'm going to go down my nose. This is a really stiff brush, so the more stiff your brush is, the more product will be put on. So it was looking a little dark, but that's okay. We're going to blend it in down the sides of the nose. Once I bronze the rest of my face, it'll be fine. Trust me, trust me. I'm going to go underneath my nose to tip it up and scrunch my nose and do a little dip just to celebrate the roundness of my nose, you feel me? Next up, with the MAC Dark Deep Mineralize Skin Finish and my MAC 140S brush, I'm going to push the barrel of the brush right into the hollows of my cheeks and give it a really nice swipey blend. Go along the jawline to bronze the neck and contour, going down the neck because we put a little foundation there. I have a little bit of eczema rash on my neck right now. I'm also going to bronze my forehead. Basically anywhere you want to go back or to be more snatched, you want to put your bronzer, and if you want to accentuate it, you do your highlighter, but right now we are snatching. Now I'm going into the blush side of the Hank & Henry Blush Highlight Duo, and I'm putting a generous coat on, and then with the highlight side, I'm going to go on the very highest points of my face, down the center of the nose, top of the cheekbones. I'm doing a little bit on the outer upper part of my brow and on the top lip. Bite Beauty just came out with a mascara, and this was my first time trying it. Oh, I noticed there's a little bit of a boo-boo there, so I just took a little bit of tongue and cleaned it up. But I was really feeling this mascara. I think it's beautiful. I was a little bit intimidated by the brush because I'm like, looks curvy, and that my lashes looked really full and fluffy, and I barely have any lashes. It's super black, which I really like. I didn't expect that, and it made my lashes really full. Also didn't smudge. Next up, I'm going to take the Lily lashes in Miami Flare, and I'm going to wiggle those on. These are used ones. I love used Miami Flare lashes. I just think they go nice and wispy. I'm going to wiggle those down as close as I can to my lash line, give them a little pinch so that the wet mascara and the false lashes kind of stick together, which will give you a bit of an eye lift, especially on the ends of your eyes. I always give a nice generous pinch to make sure that they're really secure and to lift my eyes. And then it camouflages your real lashes with the fake lashes so they just look like they are together. You feel me? Then I'm going to do the bottom lashes. I always like to do the wiggle drop method, and I am just obsessed with how much product goes on in a first swipe. Like, it really made my lashes look ginormous. This is definitely a new fave of mine. And again, I said it lasted a really long time. I'm also just going to do the tip of the lashes to make them a little bit more wispy to match the texture of the bottom. But the Pat McGrath Labs Luxe Lip Gloss in Wicked Whisper, I'm just going to put that on my lips. This is what I wore in my last cooking video. A lot of you guys were asking what it was, so I thought I'd show what it is. Not mask friendly, just to be honest, but it does look delicious. Alrighty, so that completes the look. Do you guys like this series of makeup looks inspired by shoes? It's not really a series yet because this is literally my first one. But if you like it, let me know. Did we do it? Did we not? I don't know. Let me know. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and follow. Love yourself, stay pretty, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Take care.